All right, here is where we get to stuff that you need to be using every day. You need to be using this every day. Rounding decimal numbers. And the reason we want to talk about rounding decimal numbers is because we go out to the store, I go out to the store. I buy things, and that's part of what happens when you have a job and you earn money. You can go buy things like food, okay? But I want to make sure I'm not getting ripped off and that they're not scanning things inappropriately or scanning too much stuff or whatever. So I round decimal numbers. Now, rounding decimal numbers is very similar to us rounding integers that we were doing before. So when I ask you to round 72 and 137 thousandths, I can say round this to the nearest. Round this to the nearest hundredth. So when we were doing these before, we maybe write the number out, 72 and 137 thousandths. Where is your hundredth spot? The hundredth spot is right here, right? So I'm looking at the 3. I'm either going to keep the 3 as it is, or I'm going to round up, right? So to determine if this guy stays the same or rounds up, where do I look? You look immediately to the right. Does this guy cause you to round up or down? It's going to cause you to round up. So we will say to the nearest hundredth, that this guy is approximately equal to what? 72 and what? 14 hundredths. We just increased that guy by 1, right? And you may say, oh, Mr. Craig, I would never ever round. I would never need to round like that. Let me show you how you can save money. Who likes to save money? Up top, right? Okay, let's save money. If I were to go to McDonald's, not that I would, not that I can anymore, but I'm just saying, if I were to go there. When we buy stuff, there's tax, right? On most things, there's tax. But sometimes the tax goes beyond what you're actually going to pay. When you pay in dollars and cents, right? So how many decimal places do you go out? You got 2 decimal places, right? That's going out to the hundredths. Are you with me on that? So anytime that there's tax, you round to the nearest hundredth. So if I buy something that is $1, and suppose that, I'm going to do this, it's 8.25% sales tax. Okay? What that means is that this is going to cost me $1 plus this 8.25% sales tax means it's going to be, well, 8.25 pennies for every dollar. So that's going to be 0.0825. Now, if I look at this and I do my addition, we're going to talk more about this here in a little bit, that'd be 1.0825. But wait a minute. I'm sorry, Mickey D's. I only have dollars and pennies. Do you want me to cut up part of a penny and give it to you? How does it work? What do they do? What does the computer do whenever they're pressing the buttons? Because we know they're not really doing math. They're letting the computer do it for them, right? But you can do the math. Make sure they're right. How do they round? Don't they always round to the nearest hundredth? If I round this to the nearest hundredth, then this is going to be approximately equal to what? $1 and how many cents? 8 cents, because when I look immediately to the right of this is a 2. That's not enough for the 8 to increase, to round up, so it stays as $1.08. Are you with me? Now suppose that you're feeling extra hungry, so you buy 2 things off of the dollar menu. Well, the dollar menu is still $1 an item, right? For some things. Maybe they call it the value menu because they can't get away with everything being $1. If you have $2 worth of stuff, with the same 8.25% sales tax. Well, what that means is that you actually have $2 plus .1650. And really what's going on here, when you add these guys, so this is going to be 2.1650, and you may say, how did you get that? Well, if we were using calculators, which we're not right now, you bought 2 of these guys, right? So it'd be doubling this price. So if I do 2 times 1.0825, that gives me the 2.1650. But when you round this guy, you still round to the nearest hundredth. And just to the right of that is a 5. So is that going to round up or stay the same? It's going to round up, so how much is that going to cost you? It's going to cost you $2.17. Do you guys ever question this? No, you got to pay that, right? But you know what you could have done? If you bought $1 menu item, how much would it cost? $1.08, right? What if you bought another, you went back and you said, you know, I'm still hungry, and you bought a second $1 menu item? That'd be another $1.08, right? Well, let me ask you this. If you buy 2 things that are $1.08, how much should that be? This is real world math. What is it? That's $2.16, right? But how come we're paying $2.17 here? Because they rounded, and this time they round up. So you would have been better off if you bought it once and then bought it again. You see that? You can save a penny. You got to pay attention here. I'm saving you money. Don't give me that look, Valerie. What, Augustus?
So, wow, that's a lot of money.
See, thank you. This is how people like Mark Cuban and David Trump, this is how they make their money. You find the loopholes, okay? So the thing here is that you're not actually going to go back and just buy a $1 menu item and then buy another one on separate transactions so that you can save the penny, right? Because then we have to start throwing in economics here. And what's your time worth? Is it worth you to wait in line again to process another transaction to save a single penny? Probably not. Okay? But I just want you to see that there is a difference in terms of how the rounding could work. If you bought them individually, you round it once and you round the second transaction. But if you do everything on one single transaction, you only round one time. And the fun thing is we're going to go back and we'll talk more about how do we find tax, how do we calculate that, how do we incorporate that into our answers. Because I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention whenever you go shopping, right? See, I do rounding all the time when I go shopping. Whenever I'm making up my grocery list, I'm sitting there doing tally marks for everything that I buy. So I might do 3 tally marks even though something costs $2.78. Why would I put 3 tally marks? Because I would round to the nearest whole dollar, which would be 3, right? And suppose the next item that I purchase is $4.27. How many more tick marks may I do? I may do 4, right? And I know that here I rounded up so I have a little bit of a surplus when I'm doing this. And so if I round down, I know that I shouldn't be that off. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go and I buy some steaks because they're on sale, and the price is $11.50. So how might I round that one? Might round that to 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? And then I'm going to buy a couple more things. So I'm going to let you guys help me out with this. So I need to buy some more cereal, so that's $2.87. I need to buy some apple jelly, so the price is usually $1.89, if I remember the price correctly. And then we need to buy some French fries, and those go for about $2.42. You guys pay attention to the price of things, don't you? That way you know if something is really on sale. Do not let the yellow sticker make you buy it. They may not have changed the price at all. They could have raised the price, but if they put a yellow sticker on it, there's the psychology with the color yellow that lets you think, oh, this is on sale. I should stock up. Pay attention. Be good shoppers. So when I did this, how much money should I toss back in?
$3.
So that's $1, $2, $3. $1.89?
$2.
$2. $2.42?
$2.
That's about $2, although I always like to estimate on the high side. That way when I get to the checkout counter, I know it shouldn't be more than that. So when I look at this, my estimate should be about what? How much is all of this? That should be about $26, right? And if we do the math, we should be somewhere in that region. Do y'all agree? Now, kind of jumping ahead into the addition, how do you add decimals? How do you add decimal numbers? You have to line them up. Here's the thing, though. You have to line them up according to the what? According to the decimal. So if I'm doing the work over here on the side, hopefully I can fit all of this here. So 2.78, 4.27, 11.50, 2.87. See, this is the math that I don't do in the grocery store. I don't do all of this. Who does all of this for me? The cashier, the computer, right? So when it comes back with a number, it better be around $26, right? Give or take about $1 or so, right? Now, here in the state of Texas, it's great because as long as I'm buying essential food items, there's no tax. Now, if I start buying candy, or if I'm buying napkins and paper plates, there's going to be tax on that. So I might want to, figure that in there, maybe add a little bit. But if all you're buying is regular groceries, you should be totally fine by estimating when you go shopping. Every time I do this, I'm always spot on, within $1 or so, unless I forgot to put something on here. There have been times when the last item that I bought, I forgot to account for that. So let's add these up. 8 plus 7 plus 7 plus 2 plus 9. Let's see, this is going to be, let's see, 8 and 2 is 10. That's 24, that's 33. So there's my 33, let's carry the 3. Now look at this, this is nice. 3 and 7 is 10. 8 and 8 is 16, right? So 16 and 4 is 20. So 20, 30, 7. And then we're going to carry the 3. Oh, this is actually nice enough. Look for certain combinations of numbers that you always see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 10. Think about when you go bowling. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how they're lined up. That's 10 pins. So this gives me 10. And then there's 5, so that's 15. And then I carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my total should be 2573. I estimated it to be what? 26. So the rounding was sure useful. If I'm within $1, I'm feeling pretty good. What do you guys think?